Is The Sims 3 better than Sims 4? A question we often ask on this channel. Today we're going to be comparing The Sims Late Night expansion pack versus few different packs from The Sims 4. As one of you commented, you actually need few different expansions to be able to have the content that there is in just this one Sims 3 expansion. So today we're comparing The Sims 3 Late Night with The Sims 4 Get Together, City Living and Get Famous. Yes, you need those three fully priced expansions from The Sims 4 in order to make up most of the content from The Sims 3 Late Night. Not even all of it, because I'm skipping vampires for now and we don't have bands in The Sims 4. But stay tuned, we might look at them in the future. I was really excited to play this one, so please grab some popcorn because it's a long one. And just to let you know, throughout the whole video, I basically call it like nightlife expansion. I don't know what happened, but that's what I was calling it throughout. But it is The Sims 3 Late Night versus The Sims 4. Who will win? Let's see. So we begin, as always, with choosing new town. So now we have Twinbrook, which is a city with apartments and everything. Look how fancy that looks. That stuttering is amazing as well. And yeah, we begin with creating a character. So this time it's Swelly. She will be our musician, because in this pack we have band, something that Sims 4 probably will never have. But yeah, some new clothes, not many new clothes, but it's alright. But yeah, I kinda like Swelly, and I think I did a good job of the character creator. She looks very of her times, let's just say. I was thinking of giving her like a Rockstar personality, so we have dramatic star quality, virtuoso, so she can play instruments very well, party animals, and heavy sleeper, because I think when you party all night, you then sleep heavily. So yeah, that is Swelly. And yeah, our task is to complete the Rockstar aspiration, which is reach level 10 in the music career track, Rock Branch, because I think there's two. I don't know what the other one is, but rock is what we're going for. Which is kind of funny because you don't actually have a rock music preference as an option. I think you just have indie, but it is what it is. And there it is. We're going into our first apartment. Hell yeah. So yeah, those buildings are quite big actually. Much bigger than Sims 4 I feel, or they feel bigger. And you have a lift that you have to use, and it does take a while, but this is our first apartment. I do always enjoy apartments. I always feel it's a cool type of gameplay to have someone in an apartment, because it works, you know, there's limitations to it. You have to work with limited space, and I always enjoy that aspect of it. It just feels more realistic to me, so apartment is definitely a good addition. So since she is supposed to be a rock star, we're of course getting her a guitar, and we can edit it. And I love this aspect of the game, that we can actually edit everything, and especially guitars. I remember back in the day when I was playing it, I always did this. I love it. And look at her go, she's rocking. But she is meant to be in a musician career, so I scoured the map, because you guys told me not to look at the newspaper, just look through the map, and I did so, and I found the music career. And hell yeah, we're joining it. We have the job, so can you bring the rock or make the string sing with joy and inspiration? Your knowledge as a musician and your logical abilities will be put to the test, both off and on stage. So I'm gonna be a fan for now. It's awesome that you can get paid for that, but first of all, you have to start somewhere, you know? So 25 simoleons per hour. So we did that, so it's time to go home. And I like something about traveling in this town. It is much more condensed, because it is like a city rather than like a tiny town, and it just feels like more realistic. I like it. Back to practicing. There's gonna be a lot of that in this playthrough, and most of the hours is me trying to practice guitar, at least at the beginning. Since Swelly is a party animal, I decided, you know, maybe it's a good idea to test out some venues and, you know, party a little bit. And yeah, we got to the first place, and this is where I started realizing that the elevators in The Sims 3 are a little bit annoying, because you wait ages before your sim can go in anywhere, because they kind of wait in a queue. It's not a teleport that it is in The Sims 4, so kudos to Sims 4 for doing it much quicker, but yeah, elevators are our enemy in this. I like the look of this bar. It is very cool. I just genuinely like most of the places in this pack, I have to say. We just started to play guitar today, but Swelly is a born rock star, so of course she performed straight away. Woo! Go Swelly, go! Even rock stars have to pee, so we took a little break and had some bar food. You don't really want to eat fish and chips in the bar, but I think that's what Swelly is doing. Since we got a little bit tired, we went back home. Home sweet home, it's time to sleep. The next day, Swelly got ready, got showered, and then took some quick jam on toast, because, you know, she is a rock star, so she jams a lot. You know what I mean? Yeah. Where is my life leading, bro? What is happening? Anyway, our carpool came around and we went to our first day of work in the musical industry. Hell yeah! We earned 124 simoleons. That is good. We practiced a little bit, but Swelly is a party girl, so we had to go for another party. Or go to another bar anyway. After tackling with our greatest enemy, we got to the bar, and this one is cool. There's like arcades there. That's awesome. Since Swelly always lives on the edge, she decided to eat another meal at the bar, where the bartender just takes it from below the counter. That definitely is very fresh, Swelly. Definitely not gonna be sick after that, but she lives on the edge. Anyway, we saw a celebrity, and it turns out there are like celebrity sections in the bars here. We tried to get in, but we weren't famous enough because we're not famous at all. But a little bribery always works. Hell yeah. Oh my god, we're in a lounge with a celebrity. And in this one, to get a celebrity to talk to you, you have to impress them, which honestly did take a while. But once we did it, we got ourselves a star. So basically we got fame up because we knew a celebrity, which is kind of cool. And then we partied because Tom Worthy was a chill dude. Yeah, it was kind of cool. We mainly just danced because dancing is the language of love, let's be honest. So we romanticized a little bit as well. We held hands. It was just generally awesome. We had a little kiss. But then, unfortunately, at 3 a.m., all the bars closes. So yeah, we had to go home, unfortunately. However, we needed sleep anyway because on the morning we had to go to work. My gosh, we're living such a busy life, partying, working. So after that, we went straight back to sleep. But then we got a little call talking about dancing 3 hours at the grind. Which, you know what, I don't know what the grind is, but sounds like something we want to do. But we had to go sleep first. When I woke up, I realized that the grind was a bar or like a nightclub that opens up till 3, and it was after 3, so yeah, it was closed. So instead we did some practicing because we need to get those guitar skills up. You know, we are rockers after all. So yeah, after a long time playing, we then decided to get Tom over. So I called him, but then he said, "Oh, I'm almost there," and then he was like, "Actually, something suddenly came up and I can't make it." How freaking rude, Tom. You know what? Screw you, Tom. Anyway, I was just trying to wait for the grind to open, so I went for sleep again, and then I decided, you know what, maybe get her a little computer. So with this one, I'm not doing rags to riches, I'm not going from zeros, so I'm allowing myself to buy stuff. So we got a little bit ready. So there was a little shower, which unfortunately broke, and then we had some more jam toast, because that's the way Swelly rocks, and I decided that she will never repair anything, so instead she called for a technician, who did her bidding. But she still had to clean up. Damn. We played a little bit more guitar until the grind opened, and then we went. And look at this club, isn't that cool? Look at us rocking. I was just partying when I realized I'm being haunted. It's always best to befriend a vampire, as they can emerge at any time, such as now, and are too powerful to confront. Oh my gosh, there's vampires in this pack. I did not know that. Well, I probably did, but I forgot. So I think at this point it's a good time to pause and go to The Sims 4. So my adventure in The Sims 4 started a little bit rocky. So first of all, I was trying to disable some of the packs, just so, you know, it's fair game with The Sims 3. So as we established earlier on, this was actually 3 different packs I had to add to make it even somewhat comparable to the Sims 3 expansion. Unfortunately, not everything that is in the Sims 3 expansion is in this in the Sims 4 at all. But what I usually do is disable the expansions. And here I try to do it using the James Turner's website, where you just put in which one you want, and then you copy and paste, usually in advanced options, and like this code, and it fixes it. But it didn't work this time, so I had to manually type it in. Little did I know, they actually added an option to disable packs in the game itself, but no one told me about that. So after I typed it in, I tried to create the character, and yeah, I realized all of the packs are still enabled, so I was a little bit surprised. Then I found out at that point that they added the option in the game. So of course I tried it, and it took so long for it to work. I had to restart the game like 25 times for it to actually work. But we finally did it. Say hello to French Fries. She is lazy, savant, she likes to dance, and there isn't any like a Rockstar kind of career thing in this game, but I chose the musical genius, I think, aspirations. But anyway, we got in and we got ourselves a little apartment. Yes, so this is this San Mishimo from City Living, because again, the big part of nightlife was the apartment, so we did that first of all. So as in nightlife, we decided to get ourselves a little guitar. Unfortunately, you didn't have as many customization options here, which I really miss. Bro, I love to have custom guitars. Practicing begins, and oh, it sounds so glorious. We practiced for a bit until we reached the first level, and at that point I decided to start a career. So we're gonna try to do the same thing as I tried with others, so go on top of the career, or at least complete the aspiration. And in this one I went for entertainer, as you can choose a branch of a musician. I got French fries, some radio, because you know what? That's what it's all about, you know, the music. Look at her go, she sounds so good. We leveled up again and danced to some music, hell yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot about the welcome wagon, oh gosh. The moment of fruit, will she love or hate fruitcake? She loves it, yes! I wanted to sleep, so I kicked them out, and for some reason one of the neighbors still stayed and just watched TV, but you know what? I didn't really care, I was too tired. Then I made a mistake at allowing French Fries to do her own bidding, and of course she set herself on fire while cooking. Yeah, they should not be allowed to cook. None of the Sims. How do they always do that? We did some more practicing, a lot more practicing, and then French Fry had the first day at work, which went very swiftly. How is this the entertainer's clothes? At least put like a clown's outfit or something. What the heck is this? She went to sleep, and apparently we have been completely without any social interactions for 24 hours. Bruh. When she woke up, she decided to cook again, and this time didn't burn everything. And then we practiced some more. Again, with this one, it's from the get-go, it felt like it was a little bit more empty. Maybe because, you know, the clubs and everything is not in the same town, and because you have to travel with like 2 or 3 different loading screens and to get anywhere and to do anything, I really didn't feel like going out in a town. But then I thought, you know what, would be cool if we could do the production table and start making music, like making songs that you can play on the radio. And then I realized I didn't activate the celebrity pack or whatever, the get famous, and realized that I can't. Yeah, so every time I selected it, it was just say please wait, and at times it was 5 minutes of that. It costed me a lot of headache, but I finally did manage to activate it, and I put myself a little production table, which means we can now make songs. Then this dude, who randomly was in my house when I load up the game, just went into my bed to cry or something and left. I don't know what happened there, but yeah, he just did do that. What the heck. And then we were back from work again. She's getting quite good at the guitar, I'm not gonna lie. Which again, it just shows that it's kind of so much easier to do anything in Sims 4, because we got to that guitar level quite high quite quickly. One thing I do like is that the production table, I like making little songs and then you can play them on radio and everything and publish them. I think it's a cool idea. However, we still don't have bands, and it's again, to at least attempt to have the everything in the nightlife, I had to have 3 separate expansions, both fully priced. So it's kind of crazy. And then those little things that annoy me in this game is something like the guitar. They never place the guitar in the right way. They never keep it in the inventory. And Sims 3 can do it without any issue. So that's very annoying. However, we're also on the road to fame, the same like we did in The Sims 3. So we're kind of all in the same place right now. So it's time to go back to The Sims 3. So we're back to the grind! Get it? Because the club is called Grind. Anyway, we're back dancing in The Sims 3. That's the way I like to do it. So yeah, this girl is a vampire. We tried to befriend her, but she just walked away. Like, how rude. So we just ended up chilling in the bathroom. I don't know if Swelly is into that. That's her thing, but I personally wouldn't just chill in the bathroom, but each to their own. Swelly, being the legend that she is, she stayed until everyone left and the place closed, so yeah. She likes to party to the end. Anyway, that's how our life went for a bit, you know. We just slept, played guitar, went to work, occasionally partied. It was just all about that grind, you know. We're trying to become the Rockstar. It just takes time. But then we were invited to Tom Wardy's house for like a birthday party or something. And I love that notification saying, Swelly learned that Tom is rich when you see a big house. I kind of like that. That's fun. But yeah, we did go to this amazing house. And I do like the houses in this pack. By the way, we just got a commercial deal. Hell yeah. So we chilled with Tom in front of the house for some reason for ages. But look inside of it. Doesn't that look cool? I really like the design of this. They were going out there with the house design, I feel, in The Sims 3. I thought it's time for Swelly and Tom to move the relationship to the next level, but it wasn't really working out, so we went to Jam instead, but that didn't work out either. Yes, leave, the opportunity of your lifetime. You could have been a rock star. By the way, isn't this studio / garage setup cool? Honestly, I really like it. Yeah, Tom's house is awesome. Not gonna lie. And yeah, this girl was in this bed. Tom, what is this girl doing in your bed? What the heck, dude? Well, I decided to just go into this bed then because I was sleepy. Okay, it was a long party, long day. I was work beforehand. I deserve a little snooze. In the morning, we tried to move the relationship forwards again, but then he just brought up some girl in her underwear, and I was like, you know what? I'm out of here. This is too crazy for me. I'm not at that point of being a rock star, okay? I have standards still. Home sweet home. We didn't stay there long because we are party animals, so we went to the new venue, and this time we got through to the lounge without any issues because we're that famous. Hell yeah. Anyway, we got a drink for courage and of course went to perform a little bit because we are absolute legends. We were just living our lives, doing some advertising opportunities, and we got a new fridge thanks to that. Awesome! I bet our jam sandwich is gonna taste exactly the same from them, but still cool. Hell yeah, we got ourselves a promotion. Congratulations! Swelly impressive performance have earned her a promotion to a stagehand, as well as a bonus of 408 freaking simoleons. Now that you're on the tour as a stagehand, you'll need to familiarize yourself with lighting equipment, soundboards, spare guitars, and most importantly, learn to do microphone check. You're one step closer to the band, it's still impossibly far away from the stage. Hell yeah! I appreciate that. We're moving along in life. Anyway, that's really all we were doing for a while. There's a lot of repetition in The Sims 3 when you want to level up. You know, we were just playing guitar, going to work, just chilling, you know, every now and then go to the grind. My favorite venue. Plus they kept paying me to dance there, so can't complain about that. Oh my god, we're doing a rock off Oh my gosh! Us versus that lady. She left, we win. What are you doing on our turf? That's where we play. Nothing much of interest happened other than this guy was a bit of an asshole, so we put him in his place. Yum, 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 yum. We're always on the grind, so we invested in a coffee maker to keep us more awake. After many hours, I have finally got another promotion. Now, Music Talent Scout, which is awesome. So with the band having their typical drama, they need you to scout the local clubs for new talent. Who knows when they'll need a new drummer, or a bassist, or a singer, or a pianist, or spouse, or all of the above. Grab the guitar and start learning a few chords. You'll never know when you'll need to jump on stage and replacement. And 73 buckaroos per hour, which is honestly not bad. I would like to earn that much. To celebrate, we went to our favorite bar, not the grind this time, but we went and busked a little bit, you know? Just I like the good old days. Woo, Swelly! Yeah! You rocking, girl? Hell yeah! At this point, all the grind, all of the hard work paid off because we were kind of rolling in cash, so I thought maybe we should move to the new apartment. I think it's time to, first of all, go back to The Sims 4. We had lots of fun here in The Sims 3, there was lots of grind, we leveled up our career, you know, we're ready to move on, but how will it go with The Sims 4? So in The Sims 4, French Fries is DJing hard, making music, playing guitar, just doing on the grind as well, you know? Both her and Swelly share that quality. They are busy bees that work for their success. Difference is definitely going out to the clubs. I didn't want to do it in The Sims 4 because of the loading screens. It just didn't feel as fun. It didn't feel like, you know, I'm going out to the bar next door. No, it was just like, loading screen. But I decided I kind of have to do it, you know, for comparison's sake, at the very least. So I bit the bullet and I went to a club. So my first major issue is that there's no clubs in the city. For some odd reason, it's only in this world, and I get it. It's from Get Together. That's when they did clubs, but this is just doesn't work. Like a nightclub doesn't work in a city like this because it's supposed to be like a countryside Britain, or maybe not countryside, but supposed to be like kind of somewhat British, and it just doesn't feel like it. It just feels odd to have a club here. This is where there should be Chippies here and a big Tesco, not a freaking club. I definitely didn't like that. The vibe of the nightlife city just is so much more fitting for a club. But we did it. We danced a little. I guess there's a DJing skill in the get together, which is kind of fun, and you can have clubs and dance together with people. I guess that's fun, but it's just. Look at this club. There isn't a vibe to it. It feels so like off-putting, and the thing is, in The Sims 3, it's I only played the base builds. I never had any modded or custom clubs. I was just using the ones that are in the game, and they felt so much more atmospheric. You felt like you're in a club. It feels like a place where vampires would drink your blood, you know? But here, it just didn't feel like it. However, I was trying to make the best out of bad situation, and I potentially found French Fry a girlfriend. Hell yeah. I mean, at least her clothes are cool. I have to say that I like how French Fry looks. And this girl, who knows? It could be our first love. It could be our potential partner. We don't know, but it definitely sparks are there. They're flying hard. And we went out and danced a little bit, and then we went across the map to Woohoo in the bush. I mean, if anything, that feels very British. I'm gonna give it that. Since we are super sophisticated people, we have played chess afterwards, but my knees were very bad, so we went back home. Home sweet home. Having some fruitcake, some shower, and then, you know, off to bed to be ready for another day. Then I realized that this lot has freaking goblin problem. I absolutely hate this because everything breaks. Like, I understand if it was just like few things, but no, every single item that's electronic in any way, or it's like have plumbing, just completely dies overnight. And I just can't handle that. So I decided to move too. Home sweet home. This has to be my favorite apartment in city living, and immediately I decided to create a little studio, because why not? It is a little cramped, but it is, it is nice. And yeah, we're creating more music, grinding away, playing guitar, because that's all you can really do in Sims 4. And when it comes to the aspiration, so I was going up in the career, but here I'm just trying to complete the aspiration. Again, the aspiration is a little bit different because in Sims 3 it's to complete the career. Here it is just to do challenges to be a master musician. So it is slightly different. However, we were flying through them, not gonna lie. The only one that was a problem, or that took a little time, is to be able to write music. So you have to actually learn guitar or instrument to a certain level to be able to then write songs, and you have to write a few of them, and it takes a while. So that was the only really challenging bit. But I just couldn't not redecorate this house, because I actually really like doing this in Sims 4. That's one thing that definitely it has over Sims 3. It's so fun to decorate and to, just make the apartment look a little bit better. Some call it the studio, some call it the closet. Who knows? It's a little bit of a both, but it has its vibe. I like it. And of course, a little stereo, because every music lover needs a stereo. But yeah, that's French Fry's new apartment. I like the look of it. I think we're gonna settle here for a long while. As such, it's time to go back to The Sims 3. Swelly, our girl. So yeah, we moved to a new apartment, and I forgot that you can inspect the apartments before you buy them, and I kind of didn't like this one. I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't my vibe. It's cool at one hand, but it just wasn't my vibe. As such, we immediately moved to another one. By the way, I now drive in a bus, which is very cool. And yeah, this apartment is definitely a little bit more my vibe. It has this kind of old school kind of sitcom vibe to it. I can imagine this being home to like a character from a famous sitcom. I can't name one, but that's what it kind of reminds me of, and I really like it. I love that neon. It's a vibe. I have to say, it's a very big vibe. New home means new guitar, and we customize it again. I freaking love the guitar customization. This is a guitar I want. Realistically, if anyone wants to make me a guitar, this is the guitar I want. Looks so cool. Listen to her rock out. Oh my gosh. She is a true rock star, people. That's what she is. I then also realized there was this girl in my apartment. I was trying to kick her out, but I just couldn't find a way. I don't know who she was. I think she might have been paparazzi, because apparently now we have paparazzis that like follow you and stuff. But I couldn't really do anything about this, so I just argued a little bit with her. Off to work. We grinded, and then we went on the grind. Hell yeah, we went to another restaurant, because we're apparently getting paid to have a drink, which, you know what, I'm not gonna complain about. What I will complain about is, however, those freaking lifts. It took so long to go downstairs. Why? Come on, people. What the heck? Literally, it was hours before we left, because we just had to wait for the lift. I do love this apartment. What I do not love, though, is this little gate. For some reason, first thing they do is just go in through this gate every time they arrive at this place. But I guess it is what it is. But home sweet home, it's time to sleep. So we grinded away for a bit until we actually had a birthday coming up. I did decide to realistically go for long lifespan, because I just wanted to do it chilly, you know? We didn't want to rush too much. But birthday came anyway, and we decided to go for a full-on party, because Swelly is a party animal, so she deserves a best birthday party. And there were so many people here. It's so much less depressing than the last Sims birthday I did. But yeah, we had a great time, and we actually met some new people. We were talking to Tom a little bit, but then this girl called Sugar really, we really clicked, and we spent talking for hours, and then she kind of stayed overnight, and let's just say we had lots of fun while this guy was like I don't know what he was doing. Was he like taking our food for some reason? But yeah, we had lots of fun that night. And I decided that since Swelly is a rock star, she needs a makeover. So we got her a brand new controversial look. I think that's dope. We then went and registered our band. So at the moment, at first I was thinking of Smelly Waffles, but I don't know about that. So I went for Blasted Twisters because Sugar was actually in our band. I don't know what she was playing, but she's gonna be our band member. Since we were a band, we could now perform, and you want to perform because that brings up your performance points, which apparently is good. I don't know why, but it is. So for the Sugar is gonna be, you know, our main partner, but when we went on a date to this honestly very cool bar, I really like the vibe of it. I forgot that she's not a celebrity, so or not as big of a celebrity as I, so she couldn't actually go in, so yeah, that was a problem. She was a little bit mad at us. I had a woohoo that lasted longer than that date. If you're going to ask me out, you should actually spend some time with me, which, you know what, it's fair. It's fair, my bad. Well, on failed date aside, we went to work the next day, and then we had the opportunity to go to Egypt, which is interesting because it does tie in with the previous pack, 2 packs ago anyway, but it seems that those packs kind of communicate together, and this one is basically that we have to go to Egypt and discuss musical influences with 3 locals to get a raise. So that was interesting. I thought that was cool that those packs interact with each other. So that's very fun. Bruh, we're in Egypt and we're here just to discuss stuff. So in typical Sims 3 fashion, so this bit of a trend is we had to go and just befriend someone and to talk to them about specific thing. So it's a lot of the same, so I'm not gonna go spend too much time on this, but I kind of still like the concept of this, but it is a little bit silly because you go travel just to talk to few Sims and come back. Well, since we had to wait to go to work to complete this, we went for a little run on a treadmill, you know, trying to get some swell for Swelly, you know what I mean? Well, I was at work, I actually got an invitation for a party with Sugar, so Sugar might not be that mad at me, so we're still in, guys. Don't worry. But yeah, we did our day of work, and I guess we got a raise. We earned 523 simoleons, which is quite good. I don't understand what her closing is at this point, but it's not very Rockstar to me, but it is what it is. Yeah, so the pop-up about the raise came in late, but anyway, congratulations! We are now a backup vocalist. Hopefully you're a fan of your own lyrics because you are now going to start singing them as a backup vocalist. The label thinks the band needs some sweet singing to round out the rough, darker side. So once again, the welfare of the group falls on your hopefully able shoulders, or should we say vocal cords, 154 simoleons an hour. Anyway, we had to go to the party, and it seems it's at Tom's house. So is Sugar living with Tom? Is that where I know her from? Anyway, we decided to chill a bit. As you see, me and Sugar were okay. I was trying to chill with Sugar, you know, for a bit longer, but they just like kicked me out. So yeah, that's a shame. Back home, I decided to create a little place for my band, and then I decided to invite them. I was in my underwear, but they didn't mind. But it turned out very quickly that bands just don't jam in this pack. I don't know if they're broken or it's just me, but as far as I'm aware, no one wanted to jam with me anytime I did this. But what band needs to jam? We can just play concerts. Man, I hate this little enclosure. Why do you always go there?
I love the taste of jam and toast in the morning.
Oh my gosh, someone around the town has been spreading rumors that Swelly's Ambrosia got into a fight with someone. Who would do such a thing? Oh my god. Now I'm publicly disgraced because of false accusations. Oh, people, the life of celebrity is difficult. I don't have time to deal with this now as it's time to go to work. The goal here is to get a promotion and get level 10 of this career. However, right now my mood was bad, and the most importantly, I had bad relations with my band members, so I decided to invite them all for a bit of a jam session.
Or bonding experience, I guess.
First arrived Sugar, who I had a good relations with, being that she's my girlfriend. However, the problem was the other guy. There he is, Lil Bling. At the point I realized that there's one easy way to make sure that I get along with all of my band members. Reduce the numbers of my band members. So Lil Bling, you are out of the band, bro. You're bringing nothing. It's gonna be me and Sugar from now on. Hell yeah. For some reason that didn't change the bar and I was still on bad terms with band members. How? Sugar loves me. So I decided to invite Tom over to maybe get him to be in my band, but he said he doesn't want to come over. How dare you, Tom? None of this was going well, so I just went to bed. It's time to sleep. In the morning I thought, you know what we haven't done in a while is do a party. So I decided to throw a party, and why don't we do it at Banzai Lounge? And we can do exclusive access, which costs only 1,600. Bro, we living big. We did invite Lil Bling, even though he's out of the band, because you know what? We're not holding grudges in this band, okay? We believe that party heals all. However, at this point I did make a big mistake because I allowed Sugar to cook, which of course resulted in fires since this is Sims 3. Firemen came, but actually it was Swelly that saved the day. Hell yeah, our girl is a hero. At this point I also was trying to get Sugar to move in so that we can jump properly, and because she was Swelly's girlfriend, okay? But mainly so I can jump properly, but it just wasn't coming up as an option. I don't know why. Anyway, it was time for our party. We did it at this cool Matrix kind of looking club. That's probably my favorite club out of all of those, or bars, or whatever you want to call it. I really like it. I don't know what happened. I think it is, again, the fact that you need to be like celebrity to go in, or maybe that the elevators just don't work, but the party didn't really last long, unfortunately, and very quickly we were kicked out because it was after 2 a.m. which meant that party wasn't great. As such, we went to busk for a little bit because that was one of our missions to level up in our career, is to earn 500 in tips, which honestly does take quite a bit, not gonna lie. Spent all night busking and partying, so it was early hours of the morning when we actually got back home. We didn't get to sleep long because we actually were working the same day, which probably wasn't a good idea to stay out all night. However, being pros that we are, we went to work regardless, and just trying to do business as usual tonight, just to get through the day. 693 simoleons is not a bad day of work. As they say, there's no rest for the wicked, so we went to perform a concert straight after, because we do need to level up that performance skill, which we did, which is awesome. Look at that girl finally getting some sleep. She's so tired, but of course we were woken up by a freaking telephone. It always happens. And it's just for us to go and order a drink at Plasma 501. Oh gosh. We of course said yes, because again, get paid just to order a drink is never a bad thing. Anyway, that's how the life was going. I was just going to work and then busking a lot because I need to earn those 500 in tips, and it honestly was very hard. But we actually got to level 9 of guitar. Awesome! That meant we could go and get all of the guitar books and just learn all the songs, which was awesome. Swilly of course wanted to learn all of those songs, but for some reason she kept the radio on, so it was just like, how do you learn the songs while the radio is playing? I don't know, but she did it because she's a rock star. But we couldn't practice all night because we have a celebrity duties to get to, aka go and order a drink at the bar. This is one of those cool bars. I really like the design of it. It's like a little lounge. It's cool. Mission completed. We got a drink. So now we can play for tips. I'm sure they won't mind. Sadly, we didn't earn enough tips, so next day after work we once again went busking. After hours of busking, we finally reached the goal, and we just had to report on progress. Hell yeah, things are moving forward. I don't know why we had to report to this girl, but we earned ourselves a promotions. Hell yeah. Congratulations! Swilly's impressive performance has earned her promotion to lead guitarist, as well as a bonus of 2,100 simoleons. You're a genius with a guitar, at least in the eyes of the band and your fans. Your solos speak to people in a way no lyrics ever could. Aspiring youth all attempt to learn your solos, and adults gleefully air guitar to your song. The rock and roll lifestyle has begun. Hell yeah. We're moving on. In celebration, we had a well-earned sleep. Hell yeah. Oh, and just by being a celebrity, we got a TV. Cool. Swilly literally has no time to ever watch TV, but that's cool. Another day, another jam on toes, as people say. Look at our new work outfit. We are rock stars. Then, while being at work, we got another opportunity. After many hours in the recording studio, your label thinks it might be a cool gimmick to have you perform on the streets in Al Simara for publicity and tips. The global exposure could be great for your career. Object: go to Egypt and play your guitar to earn 1,000 in tips. It took us like 14 days to get 500. Then report back to work to increase your job performance and earn a raise. We couldn't say no. Here we are then, back in Egypt. At this point I have to say I really do like that there is the collaboration between different packs, because it does really add value to them. If you have one pack and buy another one, it will kind of interact, so you're just gaining more from the DLC that you already own. There's not much to say to our visit in Egypt, because other than sleep and play guitar, we did nothing. Very quickly, my fears came true, and then just a normal visit in Egypt, which is like 2 days, was not enough for me to earn the tips. So I decided to actually not go ahead with this opportunity, because I'm not there to be in Egypt. I don't want to be there. I want to be in the town, do cool stuff there. It wasn't fun. It was just grinding, just sitting and doing tips all day, every day. And just like, what's the point? Anyway, we were back, so I thirsted for some grind. Hell yeah! You know, our favorite place. And decided at this point to have a wee chat with some friendly vampires to potentially become one. However, I'm gonna be honest, in this video, we're not gonna talk much about this, because there might be something else coming in the future. But yeah, I wanted mainly to have vampirism to be able to sleep less and stuff like that, because I was hoping that's how it was gonna work. I even invited the vampire lady over, and then I just didn't pay attention, and Swelly tried to cook again, which is always a bad idea. It's why do you try to cook? We eat jam in this house. At this point I decided no more cooking, and I just get rid of the stove, because again, it doesn't help anyone. I spent hours upon hours chatting with her, and she still doesn't want to give me vampirism. That's just rude. But yeah, I got some new opportunities to promote restaurant, and I was just trying to practice more and more to become the best guitarist in the world. As such, you know what? I think it's time to go back to Sims 4 to see how we're doing there. So in Sims 4, my goal was to level up the guitar skill, because it was necessary for us to be able to write songs. And French Fry, every single time she put down a guitar, or like stopped playing guitar, she put it down on the ground instead of putting it in her inventory. I selected once in Sims 3 for it to be in Swelly's inventory. She never put it down and just left it there. Like, why do they do that in Sims 4? They did it in a game like years ago without any issues. At that point I was getting very frustrated about that. One positive thing I will say about Sims 4 is there was a little bit more play when it comes to the apartments. So like this apartment requires TLC, so there's like a fuse box, there's like rats, there's like bugs, and you have to call your landlord or try to fix it yourself. There's also noisy neighbors. So there's a little bit more to the apartment lifestyle than it is in nightlife. Isn't necessarily super positive, because it does get quite annoying. Maybe not, but there is something to it. You know, they try to at least add something with this apartment other than just you living in an apartment, which that's how it feels in The Sims 3. Anyway, we were just playing guitar over and over again, going to work, until we got ourselves another promotion. Hell yeah. We're now an opening act, which means we got the Rock of Ages Retro Stereo, which is kind of cool. I do like when they give you items. And I have that to say that this one looks quite cool. I of course have to do some redecoration, because that's what Sims 4 is all about. And I like the look of this room, and I like this little shelf. So whenever you produce a track, it becomes a little CD in your inventory. So I start putting this on the little shelves, and I think that looks kind of cool. I would rather have a like dedicated musician career. At this point it was still an entertainer, so I had to level up like jokes and stuff, which was kind of annoying, but at the same time at least we're able to now write songs thanks to the fact that we leveled up the the guitar skill. So at this point, we wrote our first song, which was called Bus Losers. Hell yeah. And then comes the issue with balance. So the music creations table or mixing table, whatever you want to call it, that takes like 10 seconds to make a song, and you can publish it straight away. Like, straight away you can just publish that song and get royalties from it. Whilst writing a song on a guitar or a piano requires you to have a very high level of skill, like very high, and then it takes ages to write it. Like Sim cannot do it in one day because there's just needs with deplete and they won't be able to finish it. So it takes like 2 or 3 days for you to write it, and once you write it, it takes ages for you to be able to publish it if you already published a previous song before, because there's like a cooling off period. So it just doesn't make sense why they did that for just the bass instruments, but for the creation table, it's like 3 seconds. It's so unbalanced, and it just discourages you to actually write music on piano or on guitar or whatever other instrument you take, because it just takes so much longer. It's just easier to produce the track and just publish it straight away. If at least, even though it takes long to write, but you can publish it then straight away after, it'd be cool. But you write one and you just have to wait ages to publish it again. That is annoying. Anyway, our first song published actually got us to be a celebrity. So we earned celebrity notion and even got like an award, but I forgot that there's award ceremonies, if I'm 100% honest. Because I just never look into the calendar stuff, so oops. So yeah, we're just playing guitar again, and then we just go to work. I think, again, once again, the missions in The Sims 3, it just adds so much more flavor and so much more stuff to do, and between work and just practicing. Yeah, it is a little bit disappointing going back to Sims 4 without those little side missions. Anyway, time to write another song, because it is one of our aspiration goals. New song written, hell yeah. So we're writing another one. That's all there is to it. But since French Fry was bored, I got her to dance a little bit. Hell yeah, girl. And then we went back to writing again. Then I decided to create a little studio, so we had a little bit of money, so I decided to do slight renovations. And once again, I love doing that in Sims 4. This is probably my favorite building sim there is. I think that this studio looks quite cool, and we got a new couch, new little carpet, and a bigger TV, because why not? You know, when friends come around, we can watch a TV, like properly now. I like that. So now, since we actually managed to select the career path, now we were given a bit more music-specific tasks. Like here we have to learn piano. So once you progress in the entertainment career, you are able to, you know, specialize, and that's kind of cool, and you can like write jingles and stuff. So I do like that there's additional thing you can do once you progress in the career, though writing jingles and stuff doesn't actually do that much. I think you can license them, get a little bit more money, but at that point you are pretty well like set with money, I feel. So I don't know if that's that necessary. Here we are. We maxed out the guitar skills. My gosh, I have to say, it took so much less time than in The Sims 3. In The Sims 3, at this point, I still wasn't level 10. And I have to say, when I play this, I play much more of The Sims 4 because I complete the tasks in such a quicker time. In The Sims 3, at this point, I was like, the last thing we saw, the last time I leveled up a guitar skill, it was like 9 hours in or so, and even a little bit longer. While in The Sims 4, it was like an hour or 2 in, and I was playing it casually. Just to let you know, I wasn't like grinding it like playing focus on the game like 100%. I was casually playing it in the background, and I leveled up this skill, which really makes you think how much easier it is to do those things in The Sims 4, because again, it's not the focus of the game, and The Sims 3 is all about gaining those skills, and it takes years of Sims life to do anything. Here we did it in an afternoon. Anyway, we produced another track, because why not? And then, as always in Sims 4, I have an issue with my sim just getting very plump, so we got her to go for a little run. We invited our girlfriend over, and yeah, woohooing with a very low hygiene is never good. And I think it actually comes up as a bad woohoo experience, and so she got embarrassed. Oh well. Well, I got her to go and run out her frustrations, and she was playing on her phone while she was running. Like, I don't know if that's healthy. And there was like some kind of festival, so we got her to drink some tea, which is cool. So she was running and drinking tea. I don't know if that's the greatest idea either, but oh well, each to their own. The neighbors were noisy, so we couldn't really sleep, so I got her to play games a little bit, and just chill for a little bit. Oh well, we're not gonna be very rested before work. At around 2 a.m. they finally quiet down, so I got her to sleep. Once she was up, I got her to chill in her studio a little bit, and look how cool that looks. We got our mail, and unfortunately, we weren't accepted for a label. So essentially, every time you make a song, you can send it to a label and they can accept you, and I think you get more money from that, but I just wasn't lucky, unfortunately. However, we got our fame points, so I like this. I like skill trees, so I kind of like this more than Sims 3, where you just level up as a celebrity, but you don't necessarily get any extra quirks or anything. So I do like this more in The Sims 4, I have to say. That being said, those skills are not very useful, but still, I do like it. We produced more tracks and put another CD into our collection. This is looking very cool. But I do think it's time to go back to Swelly. With Swelly, we did a lot of similar things just to bring up our celebrity status. So we went for drinks, we promoted restaurants, and just spend our time working. However, at this point, I thought, you know what? We're okay with money. Maybe we should upgrade our apartment. I got rid of the instrument and I was like, maybe I should start going and looking at new furniture. But then I was just, no, let's just move to a different apartment. Crescent Bay Papeterie. That's where we're moving. I have to say, this looks actually pretty decent. It is a small studio apartment, but it is definitely higher quality than the other one. We didn't have time to fully enjoy it because it was time for work, but even the lobby I like more. This looks fancy. New house means new food, so we actually went for canned soup this time. And then I found one issue with this apartment. So whenever I asked our girl to play guitar, whenever she wanted to play guitar, there was actually, for some reason, no room in this apartment to do so. It's one of those Sims things, you know, where every time she tries to play it, she went to like a corner and said that she can't go anywhere else because there's things in her way. So that was kind of a no-go for this apartment, I'm afraid. As such, we moved again into a much bigger apartment where we can actually play guitar, and also, yeah, we just have generally more room. It looked a little bit more old school, but at the same time, it was bigger, so it was fine with us. Oh yeah, in the meantime, I became a vampire. So again, I'm not gonna go into a lot of aspects of vampire gameplay here. But yeah, she's now a vampire, so if you see her eyes glowing, that's why. I love how her Z's are now V's. That's funny. We're doing quite good with money, so I decided let's invest in stuff. I got very confused though, so I didn't buy anything. However, I remembered that I have aspiration points. So first we did Professional Simulant Booster, which just gives us some more money. Then we went for next big thing, which basically gave us the opportunity to get more money from gigs, which is cool. While working, we got another opportunity, this time to go to China, but I went no, because, again, I don't know, I don't want to travel. I just decided I don't want to do that. Yeah, for now, nothing much was happening. We went to some parties, we went to work, and at that point, Swelly was like, you know what, I can make it on my own. So she actually quit Blasted Twisters. Yes, we're no longer a band. Which is kind of sad, but at the same time, sometimes you have to move on. And we kind of broke up things with Sugar as well. Oh. But you know what? We were diverting for a while now, so it just had to be done. And since French Fries was playing a little bit of piano, I decided that Swelly also needs to learn it a little bit. Why not? With all our hard working, we haven't done a party for a while, so I decided to do one. I also decided to make it like a little bit like a messy apartment of fallen Rockstar, or Rockstar that's on a bad path, you know? Like things everywhere and everything. But I found that it's quite difficult to do that in Sims 3. I do like when in the Sims 4 they give us like garbage and stuff to put around the places. Here we couldn't really find that much of that, so it doesn't look as messy as I wanted to. But it's always something. I like that role play, you know? She's on a bad path, addicted to plasma and stuff, so, you know, her apartment should reflect that at least a little bit. Anyway, guests arrived, and some of them just left straight away. I don't know why, but I thought that the vibe was alright, you know? I had food for the mortals, you know? I had my plasma juice in the fridge, so it was all good. And we even invited Sugar, because you know what? Swelly doesn't believe in just cutting contact with people, you know? She believes you should maintain friends. Then I thought, you know what? If she is such a big rock star now, she needs some tattoos. I couldn't find a tattoo parlor, so I just cheated to go into, you know, create a sim and give her some tattoos. I didn't spend a lot of time on them, but I just want her to have as many tats as possible. I do like that in Sims 4 you have full sleeves though, that's cool. But we made do with what we had. Anyway, I felt a little bit braver, so I actually went and invested in a property. So we bought one, which was just a random residential one. I don't know how that earned us money, but I decided to give it a go. Next time I went to work, we got a promotions! Congratulations! Swelly impressive performance has earned her a promotion to Pop Icon, as well as a bonus of 2,868 simoleons. Not bad. No matter what your detractors might say, you are clearly and without any doubt a pop icon. Everyone is humming your tunes, and listeners constantly request them from radio stations. Your music will define this generation and all that follow. Yet it's not even time for the encore. Swelly now makes $361 per hour, or simoleons per hour. I want to earn that much. Anyway, we went back to our apartment to sleep because apparently immortals sleep too, which is kind of annoying. When we weren't working, we were playing piano and guitar. We're just trying to level up all the skills. And then we even performed at the stadium. Oh my god, we're honestly the biggest rock stars in the world. These people for some reason kept inviting us for a party, so I kept going. Here we met Joanna, who we immediately clicked with. There were some sparks in the air, that's all I'm saying. Very, very quickly we became good friends. For a long time nothing was happening, we were just working, with occasional visit to a bar and occasional slurp of the plasma. Then we got the opportunity to be in a movie. Oh my gosh. Of course, you know? I think we need to expand beyond the scope of music. My gosh, we're in an actual film studio, that's crazy. We almost missed work for that, but again, what you don't do for opportunity like that, you know? Sometimes you have to miss work. Plus, we are the stars. Everyone else is supposed to wait for us. Then, some days later, our good old friend Tom Worldly came to visit us, and he was now an elder. Us being immortal, we kind of forgot that aging was a thing. So yeah, I forgot that he was old. Swelly, however, did not mind. She was still interested. After all, she was in love with him in her youth. Swelly really wanted at that point something new in her life, so since Tom was here, she decided she wants to try for a baby. Since we tried for the baby, Tom was actually into moving with us, which I don't know why I've never been able to do that with Sugar. I don't know what makes it depend of if Sims want to move in or not. Is it the romantic relationship, or is it friendship, or does it both have to be bigger? I don't know, but he decided that he wants to move in, so we were down for that. I wasn't really controlling Tom too much. I left him to his own devices. But then we were officially pregnant. Oh my gosh! As happy as this news was, there was one problem with it. Because we didn't work that many days a week, when you get maternity leave, you get a certain amount of days. Which meant that we weren't going back to work until 10 in-game days. Which was kind of problematic if you want to get a promotion. We also get the bass, mainly for Tom to play, but Swelly likes all type of instruments. We actually finally managed to jam with someone. Oh yeah, and in the meantime, Tom also became a vampire, because why not? Since we're expanding family, I wanted to go somewhere else, you know, to have a slightly different apartment. Maybe a little bit more luxurious, maybe have a bigger bedroom, you know, I just wanted something else. So we moved again to Leo Center. Wow, isn't this cool? First thing I did, of course, is get rid of a stove so we don't have any fires. For the sale of the old apartment, we actually got tons of money, and there was just something not working out with Tom. Yes, we were having a baby together, but at that point we decided to just be friends. Yeah, it was time to just break up that relationship because just wasn't working. Swelly just couldn't forget about Joanna, so we immediately invited her in, and then I realized I was on the sun for a long time, which wasn't a good thing, but it was just immediately like visible that Joanna is the person we should be with. So quickly Joanna joined our household. With Joanna moving in, we had to kick Tom Worthy out. So yeah, bye Tom. It wasn't working out, but it was nice while it lasted. Look at them, isn't that sweet? And then it was time, the baby was coming. So we went on our giant bus to the hospital. Oh, our little Lumpy was born. Oh my gosh. A little baby boy who is going to be one that loves outdoors and is excitable. I like that. At that point I realized I don't have much room in the apartment, so that was an issue. And then I decided to change the lifespan. So essentially, with adults and teens, I don't mind that, but with the toddlers and children and babies, it's just such a bother. So I like the fact that you have individual sliders, so that worked quite well. We still had ages until we had to go back to work, which was annoying, so I went and played some gigs. Since we weren't pregnant anymore, I could go to the bars. Hell yeah! Aw, aren't they so sweet? We have no little baby, we have like a proper family now. That's awesome. We were of course relying on babysitters because, you know, we're rock stars. We don't have time to be full-time parent. At that point we had lots of money, so I was trying to find maybe bigger family home, but surprisingly to see that none of those mansions that the celebrities live in are purchasable. Like I couldn't find any, which was kind of disappointing because I just had to stay in apartments, which I like the apartments, but it's disappointing that they haven't built one that I can just move into. That was annoying. Since we couldn't buy any bigger apartment and there weren't any houses for us to buy, I bought The Grind. Yes, our favorite club. I decided to buy it and, you know, just invest in something that we love. And we love The Grind. At that point, I also learned that you can upgrade the things that you buy, so the clubs or the businesses that you buy, for them to earn more money, which is kind of cool. That is where one very big issue came in, is that I can't actually edit any of or The Grind or any of their other businesses because the Sims just crash. I tried a few different solutions that you guys gave me, but it was impossible for me to build on that lot. The game just crashed. It was loading indefinitely. Unfortunately, I could only own The Grind. I could not edit it in any way. I spent hours trying to do that and it just wasn't working. Giving up on that, I went and played a little bit in a bar, doing what Swelly really loves. It didn't take too long for Lumpy to level up or age up, finally. It just took 2 days because I put it like the lowest age lifespans possible, so it didn't take too long. I also forgot to pay the bills, so they were actually gonna steal some of my stuff. But in the meantime, I decided to do some renovation of the house or the apartment because we needed more room since the baby was leveling up. Aging up. Why do I say level up? I don't know. But yeah, it took a while to try to get this done. We also hired a butler, so I was trying to get somewhere for the butler to live. And this doesn't look amazing, but it was a solution to a problem. We didn't need a bathroom as big as this gave us, so this doesn't look the best, but it's functional. Our beautiful family. Then a disaster struck. So apparently, I forgot to play with Joanna at all, and she died, it seems, from hunger. So yeah, unfortunately, our partner died. If only I could have done something. I mean, I could have, but I just forgot to play as her. So yeah, that is so sad. Our family, it just began its new life, suddenly was cut short. My gosh, poor Lumpy lost its parent. As such, we decided to organize a funeral for Joanna. People arrived, including our ex, Tom. And honestly, I don't know what funeral differs from other parties. It all seemed very similar. But yeah, our poor Swelly was so sad with grief. Music heals all, however, so Swelly decided to pour her emotions into her music. Time was flying, so Lumpy was again aging up. So we decided to buy a cake, and this time not do a party, just age him up. Seeing that Lumpy was actually, had a very hard upbringing with one of the parents dying, the other parent being completely non-present in his life due to being a rock star. Lumpy grew up as hot-headed sim. We couldn't select any traits because, yeah, we kind of neglected him, let's be honest. But we got him a toy chest. That counts for something. Anyway, time for another party, because why not? That seems all we do, because we're just waiting to go back to work. So decided to put the house party and invite some of the work friends and stuff to level up a little bit our relationship with them. Then at one point we actually met up with Sugar for a bit of a conversation, and some of the old feelings came back, but it was still a little bit too early for Swelly to look into another relationship. Also was trying to get a hot tub in, but it was impossible in the apartment, unfortunately, so that's sad. I put up a fire pit though, so that's cool. Since Lumpy was growing up, we decided to do some renovations and try to juggle the rooms about and stuff to give him a bigger bedroom, and then I've moved the butler into basically kind of like a closet. But you know what? He would never be able to afford a high-rise like this, so he should be appreciative of this, okay? It felt like years that we weren't at work because it was Lumpy's birthday again, so we done another party. This one was a big one, and again, he had indifferent study habits, so we weren't able to actually select the trait for him, but he developed good sense of humor, so that's always good. Look at him, all grown up. So, using a bit of a nepotism, we got him job in the film industry, because why not? His room was actually quite good with the fishies and stuff. Yeah, I kind of like it. And then when Swelly was heading to the bin, I realized that this guy was stuck in this place. I don't know how that happened, but yeah, I tried everything and he was just permanently stuck there. I guess rip to the goat, because I don't know what else can we do other than just let him die. Seems like getting stuck in random places was not only an issue of Sims 4. Finally, though, we got back to work. Oh, it was so good to be back. Hell yeah. And we were asked to go to China again, and I just decided to agree because I wanted to get a promotion. We did get to China, learned something about music, and then came back. I didn't really spend much time on it. I just wanted to get over and done with, because I wanted to go and level up, bruh. That's what I want. Hell yeah! We did this! We completed the aspiration. So congratulations, Swelly impressive performance has earned her a promotion to a Rockstar, as well as a bonus of 4,716 simoleons. Without peer, Swelly is in charge. The most legendary concerts have your name on the ticket. The chart-topping songs come from you. You're a genius, a rebel, a rockstar that knows nothing other than the rock, the roll, and all that comes with it. The record labels hopes you're loving the life because they're loving you. Swelling now earned money by performing concerts at the stadium and theater. Hell yeah, bruh! Oh my gosh, this was a long journey. Altogether, it did take me around, I would say probably 14 hours or so to go through everything here. And yeah, the last bit, I wasn't showing much because it was just waiting for me to start the job again. But we leveled up, it was awesome. I didn't show this, but I did choose the Rockstar path. You can choose like electric music or rock. I don't think there's much difference other than closing and the title at the end. But we chose the Rockstar, and honestly, a big part of this was just waiting for me to be able to go back to work again. It is handy that whenever you go to those like locations and do the work there, you immediately level up in your career. So that was cool. And yeah, I really loved this Let's Play. But before we get to conclusions, let's see, where we at Sims 4. So French Fries also decided to get her girlfriend to move in, which was awesome. Our apartment was looking quite nice. I was trying to decorate it as much as possible to make it look just appealing, because it was a bit of a hole, if I'm honest. We're still doing the same thing, just writing songs. Because again, that's what our aspiration was wanting us to do. It was actually kind of good that she moved in, because I also had to mentor a sim in music for 3 hours as part of this aspiration. So yeah, we did that and we leveled up and we completed this. So musical genius. So it took hours of practice, infinite dedication, and bit of rocking out, but French Fries has just achieved her dream of becoming a musical master. So yeah, it honestly, it took like, I think overall in The Sims 4, it took like 3 hours to get that aspiration. It honestly wasn't hard at all. I was thinking, should I play on and get to end of the career, but honestly it's just doing the same thing over and over again, so I decided against it. So what is the conclusion? The conclusion is that I did enjoy The Sims 3 nightlife more than The Sims 4 gameplay. I have to say, I do like the musical table, and I do like that you have the fame skill tree. However, if you're just doing just one aspiration the way we did it in The Sims 3, there isn't much to it. Plus, you have to take into consideration that you have to have multiple expansion to be able to do what you do in The Sims 3 nightlife in The Sims 4. So that's something to consider. In nightlife, we have bands, which are not available in The Sims 4, but let's put that aside. You do have musical career in the base Sims 4, but for the apartments, you need to have city living. For the fame, you have to get famous, and you have to get together. You want to go to bars and create groups and stuff like that. So that is 3 full price expansions that you need to go at least a little bit to the nightlife expansion, and still not everything there. Not mentioning the vampires, because I haven't compared those in this gameplay, because I decided that there's enough content here. We will look at vampires separately though. But again, I don't want to sound like I'm super negative about Sims 4, because there's a lot of aspects of it that I enjoy. I do like the fame in The Sims 4 a little bit more. I didn't go into it as much here because I was just trying to complete that aspiration. I think I will look a little bit more into it in the next video, but yes, if you're just following the aspiration, you won't really see that much of the fame. With the musical genius or the musical aspect. I don't know why we don't have like a Rockstar aspiration. I guess because we don't have bands. But it would be cool if you have like a fame aspiration that's related to music. So I choose musical genius. Maybe I did wrong. Maybe I should have chosen like celebrity or something. But I do feel that in Sims 3, the Rockstar aspiration was more about that career, which was mainly about us leveling up the guitar skill and things like that. So I don't know, let me know if you think it's fair, but I do feel The Sims 4 provided much less gameplay opportunities here. I do like the apartments like gameplay slightly more in The Sims 4 because you have the rats, the TLC. I hate the gremlins though, and you have like noisy neighbors. There are the festivals and things like that didn't go into The Sims 4 part of the gameplay because I never played them. I was just playing the game as I naturally play it. I find the festival to be just annoying, if I'm 100% honest. I've often tried to go to those festivals, but it's just not as interesting as they make it out to be. You just go in and just buy different food than you normally would. You can get like a few different items which don't really change the gameplay in any way, shape or form. That's why I do feel they're a bit of a waste of time. When it comes to living in the city, I definitely feel that The Sims 3 does it so much better because you have the bars that you can just travel to. You know, you can busk on the streets. You can, as a part of just being a Rockstar, you get like those missions which get you to go to restaurants and visit different types of bars, and it just feels so fun to do. Again, I think it's just those missions that are enough to make The Sims 3 better experience, because it just gives you some in-game things to do, while in The Sims 4 you kind of have to make the fun yourself. Like I was like, oh, I'm gonna build a studio and I'm gonna like try to you know, like get it better and better, make the apartment much better each time I you know, get some more money and stuff like that. I have to make my own fun. While in The Sims 3, it's the missions that guide you through what to do and give you like reason to come out of that department and do stuff. So in conclusion, yes, not surprises there. Nightlife is better than The Sims Get Together, The Sims City Living, and Get Famous. Again, just based on that sole experience of trying to be a musician. I will try different career next time, and I will explore vampires as well. But when you think about this, that's additional DLC that you need to buy for The Sims 4 in order to have the experience of this one expansion from Sims 3, which is just wild how good of a value the nightlife DLC was. But yeah, let me know if you like this video. Let me know what else we should try out in this expansion. I definitely know what we're doing next, but let me know if there's anything else that you think we should test out and compare between The Sims 4 and The Sims 3. But yeah, I really like this expansion, and I'm gonna be playing it more at some point by myself as well, because I do like the city living or nightlife, you know, city gameplay. That's probably my favorite world in The Sims 3 so far. So yeah, I hope you like this video. Subscribe if you'd like. If you didn't like it, share it with your enemy to make them suffer as well. And I shall see you next time. Bye!